Awesome. Ah, Chantal, I am just absolutely thrilled, delighted, all of the above that you've carved out some time for us to have this chat. So thank you for being here. And I just want to just bring up whoever's listening, why we are here and where we're at, right? So I'm out at dinner a handful of weeks ago with girlfriends. And so a handful of those girls were single. And so we start talking about the whole dating situation and the whole Tindering that's happening out there. And I'm in my little pocket of naivety because I've been with my husband for 15 years. So I have no idea about this. And so my jaw is dropping and she's showing me of this whole swipe situation. I'm like, I can't believe this is really what you have to deal with. The horror story after horror story after horror story. I came home that night, I was telling my husband about it, and we were just like, oh, wow. And I was genuinely so curious. I'm like, how do people meet these days? How do people meet? And then I put out a post because it was killing at me. It was eating away at me. I kept stewing on it. How do people meet? Do they still meet the traditional way? Does that even exist anymore? Is the whole online dating thing? So my mind was just exploding. I put out a post, hey, how did you meet your other half? And then you had, your 5 cents to it, and a whole full of other responses, anywhere from I met my other half as my childhood sweetheart through to I met them at a seedy nightclub and everything in between. And then you've got people like yourself who said, I met my partner on Tinder. And so that's when I was just fascinated. I was fascinated because it works out for some people, obviously. And so I wanted to get you on here, Chantal, and just tease out your journey, because you were really explicit in sharing that you got I suppose a light bulb moment in terms of how you even put your profile and I suppose positions yourself, so to speak. And so are you happy to kind of just share with us all, what was the before and after like? So I'm truly trying to just carve out and paint a picture of what life was like for you when you slapped up the profile, when, the duration of maybe how long that went for, and if you've got any horror stories, I'd love to hear those. And then at what point did you go, oh, I think I need to change something up here?
Yeah, awesome. For those of you who do know me, I am an open book. So I share everything.
Love it.
If it can inspire someone and motivate someone and someone gets something out of it, that's super cool. But, for me, I moved to Australia from South Africa, it's almost 12 years now, with my then husband. And we've been together for 10 years. So when I left him here in Australia, not only was it a new country where I didn't know anybody, but also it's online dating now. So new country, very busy. I have
wow.
2 kids. I think my youngest was 9. No, my oldest, twins were 9, and my youngest was 8, 7, 6 years old. So for me, it was a case of how on earth am I going to date? I've got these 3 kids. I'm exceptionally busy. I was running a business. I don't know anybody. And now there's online dating. Let's give Tinder a go. So
wow.
like most people do, they go, let's just give that a go. So went onto Tinder, put all my lovely professional photos up, because at that point I owned Health, Wellness and Fitness Center. So I put all my personal training pictures up, all my nice, smart looking pictures. And I got lots of hits. Okay. And with that, lots of hits of, hey, baby, you're fit, I'm fit, let's get fit together. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. We'll meet at the Currumbin stairs and we'll go for a run. And he's like, no, that's not what I mean. And so I realized that, what I meant and what he meant were 2 completely different things. But I just also, realized I didn't want to tell people that I had children as well. So that sometimes when I actually went to a date and then during the course of the date, I mentioned I have 3 kids. Some of them went, well, I wish you told me that because that's a no-brainer for me. I'm out. So what I realized is I was wasting a lot of my time. In fact, at one point I was like, I have no time to go with these kids, like try and get someone to look after my kids, to go run and to go play on Tinder, to go and have these dates. Like, can I just like Zoom them and like qualify them?
And so much more efficient.
Yeah, and just go, because within a couple of seconds of actually seeing them or even talking to them, you straight away knew whether or not this was a waste of time or not a waste of time. But what I soon learned is that the more that you text backwards and forwards, the more you start actually fading into the background, and it almost becomes clear that they have a few people on the go at the same time. So I got off Tinder and I just went, okay, that's it now. Like I'm done, you know, I just don't have the time for this. And I got off for a bit and I thought, this is ridiculous. But what I also realized in my own sort of self-development time is coming out of a marriage for 10 years, I realized that I didn't know who I was and what I actually wanted. And this is why, you know, there is a blog that I have written up about, you know, what Tinder taught me about Facebook, because it's true. You know, I learned so much doing Tinder that I now apply to my Facebook coaching. But what I realized was I didn't know what I wanted, and I didn't know what type of partner I wanted. I didn't know if I wanted a relationship, or if I wanted someone casual, if I wanted someone in the fortnight weeks when I didn't have the children, or if I wanted someone, how did I want them to be involved with my actual children? So I stepped back from that and I thought, before I even go looking for something, maybe I need to be clear on what it is that I actually want. So as part of my Facebook strategy, my first two things are, firstly, who are you? And that's a hard question, you know, coming out of it. Who are you and what do you actually want? And, you know, and the second thing is that what are you actually looking for? And you need to be clear on that. So one of the things I did was I got a journaling, and I'm sure you're a big fan of journaling. And I wrote down, a lot of people do this, and they do this with dieting as well. They write down all the things they don't want. But what they don't write is what they do want. And I decided that instead of focusing on what you don't want, focus on what you do want. So what I would do is and I actually still have it, it's lying next to my bed now. And I wrote pages and pages. And every time I saw another couple, or I saw something in a magazine, or I saw an old couple holding hands down at the beach, I wrote down what I wanted. Oh, when somebody walks on the beach with me, or somebody that, you know, supports me in what I do. It doesn't necessarily have to be involved in what I do, but at least supports me, but can still do things with me, like, you know, go cycle if I wanted to cycle, even if, you know, just occasionally. I had their own friends, but because everyone's different. So for example, I had my one friend, and she doesn't care. She's been with her partner for 4 or 5 years. They only see each other like on the weekends, and they're happy with that. But for me, I love quality time. So one of the other things is I wanted to work out who I am so that I could try and get the right person. So I did the 5 love languages.
I know. That book changed my life, by the way, and that's how I started with what I'm doing now, because that concept was incredible. It's
excellent, because you then know how you give love and how you want love backwards.
Totally.
So finding out how I would help me get the right person, and then focusing on the right person and who it is that I wanted. So I did all of that. I did all the journaling, writing down all the things that I wanted, realized that I like quality time. So finding somebody, and this again comes down to like personal branding, but finding somebody that doesn't have the same energy as me or doesn't like quality time, like it's going to be an instant struggle. So I focused on quality time, acts of service. What were the other? There's another one.
Physical touch, gifts, and
gifts is like my last one. I know I've gone blank as well. I've got it on my first.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation, yeah, as well. So for example, so if you're in a relationship with someone and they're giving you gifts, but you wanting words, it's really, really difficult. And one of the boyfriends that I did have when I left my husband, he was like a night owl, and he would only wake up at like 10, 11 o'clock in the day, ease into the day, and then he'd be up all night. But I'm like an early morning person, so I wanted to get going. So we were constantly butting heads. And so I just stepped back and went, you know what? Like, if I'm going to create my perfect life, then who am I? What do I want? And I stepped back outside of that before I went back onto Tinder. And then when I went onto Tinder, I thought, I'm going to put my worst foot forward. Like, I'm going to because I don't like wearing makeup. So I don't wear makeup. I'm always in casual wear. I'm in Ugg boots, my beanie. Often my stuff doesn't match. So I'm not going to put my you know, my professional photos up. I'm going to put my sweaty gym photos, me pulling faces, and I'm going to put all those photos up. And then when I write my profile, I'm going to write about my perfect day. So I said, I like to start my day early. I wake up early. I like to go for a walk on the beach, or take the dog for a run, or go to the gym. You know, then I work from home, but I love to, you know, be able to, you know, call my partner during the day, see how they are, because, you know, quality time is important to me. Family is important to me. So, you know, being able to, I've got this this massive family that are in Australia. They're in Brisbane and Sunshine Coast. So every second year we go get together, and there's like 50 Italian, South African, now Australians that get together, and it's absolutely wild. And they talk and their hands are going. And so, you know, I said, I like to talk a lot. I talk all the time. And, you know, we come from this loud family, and family is very important to us. But I literally said who I am and how I am. And, you know, I love camping and roughing it. And I did all the, you know, and I literally described my perfect day. And I'm in bed by like 8 o'clock because I've like had a wild, hyperactive, exciting day, and very social, and I'm very public, and I've got lots of boys that are friends, and because that person's going to have to be comfortable with that. And when I did that, I got a lot less hits. But the hits that I got were genuine interest. They were people that were genuinely interested in, or saw the same values, or appreciated the same values, and connected with me at that level. And one of the other things that I learned is get them off. Like, don't text them backwards and forwards. Ask them a little bit about themselves, or what did you like about my post, or, you know, did you like the fact that I say that, you know, I'm an early riser and I love the gym and I hate makeup, and you know, and I have a big family and I love my family, and like, and I've got 3 kids, so they're in the picture, and like, what was it about my profile that you liked or were interested in, or whatever. And it's exactly the same as, again, when you trying to, you know, get a new client, you would do exactly the same sort of thing. And then from there, literally get them on the phone. And again, my number 8 rule for the fundamentals of Facebook is get them the hell of Facebook. And it's the same thing, get them the hell of Tinder. Like, get them onto a phone call, because once you start talking, you'll straight away get a feeling and go, this is right or not right. And then from the phone call, meet for a coffee. So that's the other thing. Don't, from my experience, this is just my experience, but I always did daytime coffee, because daytime coffee, it's safer, it's quicker. You can get in and out. You can always plan that dinner later on.
What a great tip. Wow.
It's a great tip. And you know what else is that, you know, with dinner, drinks, the guy, because he's paying, usually they have this expectation now that you might owe them something. So for me, it was always just daytime coffee, you know, meet them at a place, always have an out. Like, always, same thing, you know, with my discovery calls. When I do discovery calls with clients, I go, you know, it's a 15-minute call. I've allowed for half an hour, and then I've got other appointments, because you can always reschedule another appointment, but at least you've got a time to go, yeah, you know, I've got a half-hour gap. We'll meet for a quick coffee, and then take it from there. And then, from there, that's how I met my partner. So, you know, really amazing. He's got bicycle shops. He's involved in giant bicycles, and
that's so cool.
He's super cool. He hates makeup. Like, if I put makeup on, he just does not like appreciate it at all. If I get dressed up, it's like whatever. He's quite happy me slobbing around the house, looking ridiculous and pulling faces. And I always say he gets my crazy. Like, he completely gets my crazy. And, you know, with my ex-husband, it was kind of like opposites attract. Like, I carried him because he was quieter, but I'd never go opposites attract again. I love the fact that this time around, I've actually gone with somebody who's the same as me, because it's like, what are we doing today? Let's go. Like, and it is amazing. It's just this understanding. And I know that after, I think it was about a month or 2 of dating, I pulled out my book and I said, oh yeah, I manifested you. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, read this. Like, and he read it and he said, I cannot believe it. That sounds like me.
Wow.
You know, the absolute details of how, you know, what I wanted in a relationship. So, you know, whether or not you woo-woo or not woo-woo, but just putting it out to the universe and being clear on what it is that you want. But then when you do meet the universe halfway and you go onto Tinder and go, this is literally saying that this is who I am and this is what I want.
Yeah.
So that you're crystal clear on it as well. And then you're more likely to attract the right person and have the right experience.
That is amazing. And so how long have you guys been together now?
We will be together, I think it'll be 4.5 years now. So almost 5
Wow.
years. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I've been married before, so I've decided not to get married this time around. I said that he could court me for the rest of my life, and as soon as he stops courting me, I'm out. So, and he comes from two parents that are divorced, so marriage is not important. He believes that you should show commitment every day, just in the things that you do. So we're both matching each other there, which is really cool. We don't have that expectation of that. And he doesn't have his own children. But you know, he doesn't have his own children, so you know, he but yeah, he tolerates puts up with my three daughters. You know, my twins are now 15 and a half, and my youngest is 12 and a half, so they're difficult. Like seriously, he's going to go to a special heaven for what he puts up with them.
House full of women. Amazing.
Yeah, so that's really my story, and those are really my tips. And if anybody does listen to this video, you know, by all means, just tag me, go @Chantal Gerardy, ask me a question in the comments, and I'll be more than happy just to answer your questions. And
you're a star. You are a total star. And look, I wrote down a few notes in terms of, just to summarize, right? Just the most important thing from your end was really discover what it is that you want. Who are you? And then from there, work around that. And so something that was pivotal in that is just even understanding what it is that you want and what it is that you need. And so from there, you really honed in on the 5 love languages, really recognizing what it was that spoke to you. And then you were able then to really do that deep dive manifest and be very detailed and putting out that message and really showing the positives, this is what I want, rather than this is what I don't want, and then refer to negative traits. Amazing.
And then literally saying it, say it on Tinder. So people try and they get
nice.
They get fancy or fluffy on Tinder. So they're too generalistic, and it's fluffy, and it just kind of talks to everything, because it's all about an ego game of they just want hits. But it's not about hits. It's about the right hits. And you can have a really horrible experience by attracting the wrong people, you know. So my friends have been in some really terrible sort of situations. And then when I go back and I read the messages, I go, you don't understand. Like, the guy has completely interpreted it the wrong way. Like, we have to take it from their point of view. And men or boys are different. Like, they just think differently. So 100%. We've got to be careful how we say or how we position ourselves. So it's better just to talk about our day and how we like our days, and they'll either resonate with it or not resonate with it.
I love that. So authentic. So true to who you are. And I think, I don't know, I thought it was just very, I don't know how to put this, you know, when you have single friends who are out there and the same story of, I don't know if I'll ever meet him, I don't know, I just can't find the right person, they're all horrible or whatever it is, and it's just this rewind of this story. And it's almost like, have you ever stopped to do mirror work and thought about what you're projecting? And it's really hard to kind of have that confronting conversation with yourself. And so thank you for just bringing to light.
Yeah, most people, I mean, I always tell my partner, he was like the last Tinder date I was going on. Like, I was like, I'm done. He messaged me. I said, I'll meet you at the restaurant. I actually pitched up at the wrong restaurant. I told him where to meet me, and I went to another one. He still thinks I was actually seeing another Tinder date beforehand, which I wasn't. But I was walking around the restaurant looking at people's faces, and then I called him, and he's like, I'm at this restaurant. And I said parlor instead of paddock, and got the restaurants wrong. And he waited for me, and he said he now spends his life waiting for me. But, you know, the thing is that I said to him, it was kind of like the last one, because I was at that point where I was satisfied with myself, and that if I didn't meet anyone, that was okay. And I think that if we go in from a place of desperation and not clarity in what we actually want, yes, we are going to attract all these wrong people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Thank you, Chantal. Thank you. And for those who are listening, I'm going to put some notes as to where you can find the Love Languages quiz, and just where they can learn more about you if they want to connect with you. And we can just pop those in the notes as well. But
thanks so much.
Oh my goodness, I'm so grateful, and I hope for all my single friends, friends of single friends, tag your single friends. Really, just you know, when we find that love with someone else, and of course, I'm not speaking to the people who are absolutely happy to be on their own, but for genuinely those who go, I would love to find companion. I think this has been a really juicy way of attracting that right person for you. So thank you. I so appreciate your time and your expertise and your humor and your realness. Thank you, Chantal. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to pop in the links, what we spoke about. And so reach out to Chantal or myself if you have any other questions. Take care for now.